o'clock. Call the meeting to order. Not that you aren't all orderly already. Roll call. Sage Alexander and Pamela Batchelor are excused today. So Teresa Baxter. Oh, you know what? Could you guys say here when?
Here.
Thank you. So that the recording has it. Iris, is Iris there?
Not yet.
Okay. Susan Horowitz?
Here.
Thank you. Susan Jaggers?
Not present. At present.
Okay. I counted. Michelle Jones?
Here.
Danielle Cavaney?
Here.
Eve Lacey? Here. Jennifer Miller? Here. Melanie Muskie?
Here.
Nettie Penman? Here. Jenny Ravolino?
Here.
Cindy Tiger? Here. Scott Tillian?
Here.
All right. Okay.
Are you going to say who else is here?
Present staff is Angela and Eric Mason, the museum director. Public invited to be heard. Today we have Eric.
Hi, Eric.
Hello.
Did you sign in? Did you sign in? Was there a place to sign in? Thank you. State your name and you have 3 minutes. Go.
You're very formal.
Hello, I'm Eric Kaczynski. I am the Community Outreach Coordinator for Longmont Downtown Development Authority. I'm also a Director for Longmont Creates, the managing nonprofit for the Creative District. Anything else? Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to hear what's going on.
Thank you.
Any corrections to the January 16 minutes? Which we all read, right?
Fish.
No corrections. I need a motion to approve the minutes as is.
I move that we
Second? All in favor? Okay. Any opposed? Nothing, everybody left. Additions and the minutes are so approved.
Thank you.
Additions and corrections to the today's agenda.
I have nothing.
Okay, we're good to go. Council comments, we will, is Susie?
Susie will not be joining us.
Okay. Code of Ethics Adoption, Eric Mason.
So at our last meeting, we shared the Code of Ethics. Got a couple of grammatical corrections, but otherwise no substantive revisions. But happy to entertain any further questions about Code of Ethics. Basically, if there was anyone who wasn't here last time, we are adopting this mostly because it's a good thing to do, but also because the museum is working toward accreditation, and that's one of the baseline steps
Thank you. Thanks, Eric.
for accreditation is to have an adopted Code of Ethics.
All right.
Should I bring up any of these things?
Does anybody have any comments, questions? All right. I need a motion. Can I make a motion?
You may make a motion.
I move to approve and accept the Code of Ethics document as amended for grammar.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Anybody opposed? And just a note, Susan Jaggers has arrived. Clover Meadows update. Teresa and Jennifer.
And me, probably. Put them on the spot.
Put them on the spot.
On the spot. Who wants to be on the spot? You want to be on the spot? Go for it, Jennifer.
Okay. The artwork, which is done by artist Mike Burke from the Reno area has completed, and it has been accepted by risk management, as we know, is a big step, and we are approved to move forward. And here's our photos of our finished piece, and it's a workshop.
More than last time,
We should
yeah.
sit next to it
Did
so I can
risk
see how
management
big it
have
is.
any changes, or was it good to go?
So one of the things I'll note is you may recall that one of the design amendments that was asked is about footholds, specifically footholds to prevent climbing. And so this is, the pedals, if you will, are ADA compliant for bench, but also a kid could, person could come and sit up on here. And risk management is okay with the amount of exposed chain, and then, not in this picture, but a piece of steel is then welded in strategic places from some degree up. I think it's all compliant with playground equipment specifications. So at this point, which I think is about 3 feet, there is a welded piece of steel with rounded edges, so a little foot couldn't get in there, or you know what I mean, couldn't get in there, but shouldn't get in there. So here's another image from the side of where the welded steel goes up and around, but aesthetically speaking, really where you're looking at it from sitting on the bench, you'll be able to see the exposed chain.
And from far away too, looking at it on the side, you know what it is.
It didn't really change it too much because it's up on the top.
Yeah.
So
And how deep is this going to be buried? Because the chain kind of ends there.
So here's ground level. This is the footer that is will be attached to, the plate that will be attached to the footer, which is concrete subgrade, goes down about 3 feet. So if you can imagine that each of these, where it attaches to the ground, then goes subgrade, has really big feet down into the ground. And then this will be at grade. This will be at grade. And then I don't have pictures of the park, but the crusher fines, which is a kind of like road base, if you will. They tend to be flat, not round pebbles.
It's the stuff on bike paths.
Correct, and it kind of like shakes and it kind of compacts down as soon as it kind of shimmies in and out of each other. Will surround the piece, so you won't be able to see the footer, and the the chain will appear to disappear, if you will.
Into the ground.
Into the ground, that's correct. So this, if you will, is at grade or slightly below. So it will, and it'll be staggered, so it will very much have that appearance of that the chain goes up and down and underground and up.
And there's a sidewalk in between them.
Correct.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to this.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, me too.
It turned out better than I thought it was going to.
Right?
It always kind of did.
It's more massive, it's got,
There's a whole.
Angela, can you remind us how tall it is?
Yes.
Yes, so let's, there's my handy dandy drawing. Okay, so it used to be that it was gonna be straight on. Now it's going to be offset slightly. And the height, that's not a good picture. There we go. So this is 99 inches from tip to tip. And then this is just under 17 feet from the
Feet,
bottom of the,
Wow.
from where it is subgrade
Cool.
to the top.
And it's going to be a little bit underground. So
Correct,
it's
so it'll be
still gonna
slightly
like 15
subgrade,
feet.
yes, right.
Excellent.
So it's bigger, if my memory serves me correctly. It's bigger than it was supposed to be.
Yeah, I agree.
Bigger is better.
Yeah, because initially the chain was supposed to go into the air like mountains, so I think he probably compensated with this from.
Well, and to your point, when he took his conception to structural engineering, they made adjustments for wind, snow, weight, load. So yeah, those pedals are pretty.
I'm excited about those. I love the reflective material on them.
So our tentative installation date
I like that.
is, it'll ship March 10th. This is all asterisk, big asterisk, weather depending, because it's coming from Tahoe.
Is he Is he bringing it out or is he shipping it?
Don't know yet. But he's pricing it out, and depending upon the two scenarios of if he brings it out versus if he has it shipped, then all of that kind of shimmies and shakes the installation plan, not day, just hours. Because shipping companies are kind of like the cable company. They give you a window of doom, right? And of course, they arrive 5 minutes before the very last moment, you know, or hours early, right?
Right.
And then they sit outside your house. We will be prepared for either. If he ships it himself, we'll probably store it overnight in a safe space, and then we'll move it over, and we'll have a little bit more control of the installation timeline. So that's a little TBD, but at present moment, the 10th of March, installation, the 12th of March, which is a Wednesday. We will probably start about, I'm guessing, 10. It will take all day, but it should be done all in one day. I don't see any reason why not. If not, that gives us Thursday and Friday contingency. It also gives me Thursday and Friday to bring in the crusher fines to handle cleaning up of the site, whatever that means, power washing, tire tracks, those kinds of things. The way it will be installed will be in two pieces, because it's two pieces, probably on casters, similarly to how it is being stored right now. And then there will be a telehandler that's a forklift that has a extended arm. Mm-hmm. So we'll mount it, or we'll sling it rather, to the telehandler, and then we'll just wheel it on the pathway to the site, and then pick it, reach it, set it, mark, pick it, drill 8 times, put in the hardware into the ground, reset it, epoxy, crank it, and then it'll be done. So each of those actions per piece probably takes 2 hours, I would guess, in my experience.
That's if everything goes perfect.
Correct. But that's why so you always have the opportunity to set your hardware first when you're pouring your concrete. But the reason that I don't like to do that is then if you want to move it a little to the right, a little to the left, or it looks kind of funky or whatnot, this way you have the opportunity to do it on site in the moment. Yeah. But it makes installation just a little bit longer because you're quite literally waiting for glue to dry. So, yeah, so it's looking good. All of the alignment measured up. Mike was really happy. He will be out here one way or the other, whether it ships or whether he ships it himself, with the goal of having the dedication that Saturday, March 15th, from 11 to noon. 11 to noon. Yep. So, to alert the neighbors that we're coming in, and we're gonna make noise and dust and things, I have made some door hangers for our neighbors. It is about 250 residences. I have left off the dates of both the installation and the dedication. So as we get closer to the date, and we're like, okay, it's a go, then whomever would like to hand out door hangers, I'll give you some labels, and you'll stick your labels on, and then go and walk them around. So,
there's 2 labels.
Yeah, there's
One for the
4
installation.
labels.
Oh, one's for the installation and the dedication, and then in Spanish, the installation and the dedication.
Everything is in 2 languages. So I have, at present, I've broken them out into like 2 sizes for people who are interested in getting your steps in. Ones that are about 30 residences and ones that are about 50 residences. I'm not a super fast walker, but I'm not pokey either, and it takes me about 1 minute per-ish. So a packet of 34 will probably take you 30 to 45 minutes, hour at most. One of about 55 to 60 will probably take you an hour and a half-ish. And I don't, if you've been to the neighborhood, all these houses are pretty close together.
Are there rules, like, can we open a screen door and put it on the door?
There are rules actually, and yeah, you just,
Only on the outside?
mhm.
Okay.
And this is notification by the city, so this is not solicitation. I like doing door hangers because I know that somebody is going to read it. I know they're going to read it because they have to well, at least they're going to look at it and be like, oh, the city's trying to tell me something before they throw it in the garbage. It's just, especially because a lot of these back to the park, we just want to let them know that we're coming. So if you are interested in getting your steps in, and then once I have the labels printed out and we are go, I will deliver labels to you. If you are interested, let me know.
And these need to be distributed?
By at this point, by the 8th of March. So that would be that Saturday.
So you'll make labels the week beforehand?
Yeah. I'm just gonna keep watching the weather because if I print them, Murphy is like a monkey on the back. You know that guy? Yeah. Yeah, so anybody who's interested, I saw you, I'm sorry.
I want, yeah.
Yeah, interested? Okay. Yeah, just come and see me afterward and thank you. Yeah, this will be great. And then if you want to, we can send out postcards to kind of the ripple out to the neighborhoods beyond that to let them know once we know, especially the dedication piece of it. That can happen pretty quickly, but this is really for the impact because there's going to be trucks and noise.
Oh, and I questioned why there's a perforation here.
Oh, yeah.
And Angela said, it's not so we can tear something off, it's because that's the only kind of door hanger she can get.
Yeah, Avery only makes perforated ones, but to your point though, if somebody was like, "Hey, come to the dedication. Here's the information," they could tear it off and like hand it to somebody else.
Clever, very clever.
Right, then it was totally intentional.
I love that.
Yeah, and so do you two want to talk about the dedication plan?
Okay, so the dedication is, our first intention is to have the dedication on March 15th, which is a Saturday. And I believe that we talked about 11 o'clock.
11 to noon.
11 to noon, right? But it will start, people can start gathering around 10. And we will have simple refreshments, which is going to be, I ran all this stuff down, which is I believe it's going to be fruit and bottled water, and water that people can fill their water bottles with, because we're focusing on it being, responsible and sustainable. And so that will be March 15th, and then the snow date or whatever, the inclement weather date will be the 22nd, the following Saturday.
Yeah, we'll just keep pushing Saturdays until we get a good one. Basically, that's the plan.
Right, so we will, this should be a basic thing. We're not going to do ribbon cutting. The park's already cut ribbon for the park itself. So we're just going to have, thank everyone, introduce the artist, have him say a few words about his intention for the piece, and dedicate, say a few words of dedication.
And bike swag. I'm trying to get our friends from the traffic department to give us some stickers or bike swag.
They've got these reflective thing that they just recently did for Bike to Work, so you can put it on your backpacks and people can see you.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
Talk to Ben Ortiz.
Oh, gonna tell them I've seen it. Cool.
So we will have volunteers. We'll have volunteers for the installation day as well as volunteers for the dedication day. So it's a fun thing to go to these things, I think.
How many volunteers do you think you need, and what kind of timeline are we looking at?
So installation day, it's some of you have been for installations. Bear, I think, was the one that was kind of similar to this. It's a lot of hurry up and wait. But when we are driving a big piece of equipment with giant piece of art hanging from it, making sure that no one gets in the way, and so they stop while they're dog walking, and also holding their camera to take photos and their dog's going crazy, just like people management, and then taking photos. I never get enough photos because I'm busy. So if you're volunteering, it would be taking pictures of that. So when I tell you, I'll let everybody know that we've determined the date, and this is about what it's looking like, and then fill in, hey, I could use a volunteer here, here, and here. Come as you are, come as you can. If you can't, no big deal. If you can, fantastic. If you can't make the whole time and you can just do a stint, that works. Everything is hopeful. So, yeah, but I think that the artist is going to have himself, if he drives, he'll have a buddy, and then he has 2 art installers, so that's 4, plus me. And then, of course, we have museum staff who they are always very helpful. If I'm like, I need you to be here to manage something, they are always helpful too. So, yeah, I'll just kind of let you know. But Wednesday, the 12th, I would say tentatively 10 a.m. It's probably about right.
Okay, so how many volunteers would you like? 3 or 4?
Oh, yeah.
8 or 10?
Yep, whoever can come.
Okay.
Yep.
Do I need to take names, or can we trust each other?
When we know what date it will actually be, then it'll be more.
You'll send out
conducive
an
for-
email?
Yeah.
Excellent.
But maybe pencil it into your calendars.
Yeah. Okay. And then also for the installation?
Oh, that was the installation. Dedication, yeah, if I could have a
Dedication, right.
1 to 2 people come like at 10, meet me there at 10 to move a table or 2, set up fruit stuff.
Put up a
And then 1 to 2 people to stay after for 30 minutes to help me schlep things back to my car. That would be great.
Okay.
I'll have my wagon.
And again, we'll do maybe you could do a sign-up thing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, do you guys like that sign up Genius?
Yes, I
Yeah.
do. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Sorry about the pop-ups, but.
Nope, that's okay. All right. Any questions? Comments, observations? We're all good? Okay. Next, history under wraps. The traffic folks have gotten back to us, approving all designs and confirming our box suggestions.
Ooh, nice.
Yes. They made some suggestions from the handful of locations that had been sent to me. Those are the starred ones here, which this has not been sent to the task force, but it's going to be. And then the task force needs to just come up with which ones are going where. There were some comments from task force with some suggestions, and so just for funzos, I mocked a couple of them up. So here is the train station, which the traffic people agreed that having it at 2nd and Main,
Right.
because of course the train is going to be
Cool, yeah.
you know, jump. Anyway, so I mocked it up with the train
Oh,
station
nice.
kind of facing Main, and then our handy dandy little guy overseer, he's kind of on the side here. The train ends up being on the, if you will, backside facing east, so that would be this portion. It's a little dark. We'll probably lighten it up. I do have somebody who will be scanning the images from the task force. Thank you very much. So, yeah, we'll do some work on the images themselves, but looks pretty good. The bike race
Nice.
was suggested over here on 3rd and Terry,
That's great.
just because there are so many figures that, and this is very, very residential, that,
That's perfect.
yeah, it could be a really
Yeah,
good.
slow
That's
people
Kelly's
down.
house right there.
Yes.
Oh, that looks great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the bikes kind of wrap all the way around. I thought that was a really good
Really cool.
recommendation. I always say it wrong. Boynton women? Boynton women, out here at 9th and County Line. Was a suggestion, which is nice because that's the east side of town. And I did it so the central figure here was facing east, and then you get this large section facing north, and this large section is then facing south.
Nice.
So the kind of shed, I guess if you will, is the headed east on 9th, but I think that's okay.
I drive out that way a lot, and that intersection is really busy, really busy.
We could flip it so this woman, depending on what y'all think, that this woman was facing west. If you think that that's maybe more visible, I don't know.
No, because your
That's fine.
oncoming traffic is going towards her, and if you put her on the other side, then the
This
traffic.
is a T.
Oh, yeah,
This is a
yeah.
T intersection.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
but
people
still, you're
drive by
still
will see
going
that.
Here
that
it is.
way.
Yeah, so she's kind of facing that way.
Hmm.
And then this suggestion of the rodeo over here at Clover Basin and Airport, it actually mocks up really well. I was concerned about,
Nice.
you know, how our little cow gets his kind of belly chopped off, but it reads.
Oh, it looks.
Oh,
It
Oh, look at
reads
that.
fine.
Yeah, it
reads
does.
really, really well. And then of course our cowboy here
That turned out really
fits
good.
really
That's
well
great.
there. Yeah.
I
So
like that location.
the images, I think we've learned our lesson on, you know, when we're taking the image and how we have to crop it. It's unfortunate because there's so many great images and they all don't crop well.
Right.
But this selection's looking really, really good. So,
Good.
so the task force is going to get the map and these suggestions, and then there are 11 at this juncture. There's only the one that I'm worried about how it's going to scan, but we're just going to try.
I have a question.
Yep.
What about the Longmont Against the World? Is that going to be downtown somewhere?
Sure.
That's a good place.
Did that one even get chosen?
Put it by the
That was one of the-
protest rock.
We just put, I mean, we're
Oh,
not
that's a
budget
good
limited
idea.
on it, so.
Okay.
I like that.
Put it by,
That
by
rock that
6.
they always, that's where they protest,
Oh,
whatever
that's
that piece
actually
of
a
art
good
is.
idea.
It's
Oh,
Sixth
the
and
brick
Main.
sculpture.
Yeah.
The brick
Yeah.
The only thing
sculpture.
about 6th and Main is they're gonna be building is relative, developing on the Save-A-Mat side,
Mhm.
and that's where the box is.
Oh, it is?
And they're gonna, LDDA is building out that into a community space.
Oh, I
So
didn't
we don't know
know
what that's gonna, I guess, we don't know what that's gonna look like, but it will have.
When are they
Probably.
going to do that? Are they planning to do it next year?
Hey, Eric!
Hey.
How's it going?
Hello. Yeah, they're unveiling it at our board retreat next Wednesday, so I don't even know what it looks like yet. But we've had several sessions with the public, and so it will be beautiful, whatever it is. The timeline is going to go in phases, so there's a lot of remediation that needs to be done on that building. There's some toxic stuff in there. So it's going to be done in phases, probably over like 3-ish years. But throughout those phases, it's going to be open to the public. And we'll have some cool art installations and community gatherings and things of that nature.
I think that
I'm-
switch box there is perfect.
I'm wondering, I know we've talked about this, all of us in the task force, but I'm wondering if we can earmark that one for that box and then wait to put it on. You know, not make it this year, but hold it for maybe next year if there's enough.
Yeah. There, oddly enough, when making this map, unlike the shock art boxes, which there are copious amounts of pad mount switches in town, traffic lights, of course, they're on main arteries, right? And so like Hover's got a bunch, and Airport's got, and Maine has a bunch. But there are also not that many that are great in a 360 view. They have like one very major front.
Yeah.
And so I think as we go forward in this program, we're going to start finding that we're more limited and the right composition to the right box is going to start probably leading into this.
Okay.
So at this juncture, we have images that look really great in the round. I would say that we should probably lean into that at this point. But again, task force.
Is there a box at 5th and Main? There's a stoplight.
Every stoplight has one.
Yeah.
Every stoplight has to.
Maybe we
So-
can put that one there.
Yeah, so I'm gonna send these to you. These are the ones that the traffic folks suggested. And I thought it was pretty smart because they're really spread out, which is great.
Yeah, it is.
So I appreciate that, they're cognizant of kind of what we're trying to do, and they,
What are the purple ones?
the purple ones are ones that you had suggested as
Okay.
well. So there's some,
Crossover.
yep. So,
Okay.
Okie doke. So more to come on that, and but I think that chances are task force is going to make decisions, and then we're gonna get it done.
And then you're gonna send us this?
Yes. And I did not send you the pictures. I was going to send the Centennial teachers and the other guy. I will send
Oh,
those
right.
Oh,
images.
Central. It was Central.
Oh, it was Central. What
Yeah.
did I say?
Centennial.
Not Centennial. Central teacher image and
Make sure and add Susie to that one too.
yes,
She's
and the
really
sunset.
excited.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was on my list and I dropped it. I dropped that. Okay, great. So hopefully by the next time that we meet, we'll actually have pictures of what it is, not just mock-ups.
Excellent.
Cool.
Okay. Any questions, comments?
I have one question. Do you know roughly the lifespan of the vinyl wraps?
Every community that I have spoken to has not had to replace as of yet, which is awesome. Greeley does similarly to what we do for shock art, but they do it with digital artwork that is applied. I think that the color ones probably have less lifespan because of the color.
Sure.
But I think at this juncture, the warranty is like a year, but I think they said like 5 to 7 years.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But if they ever do look ratty, I think that we're gonna have to go in and, but no,
Well, we
no
have
one's
the-
ever had any problem.
We have the files, so we can just reproduce it and replace it.
100%. Oh, and I did look into mocking up some of the titles
Oh, yeah.
with some of, so traffic said completely fine, if that's what we wanted to do. And also learned our lesson because when we did them last time, we told them which face, the main face, and then we applied this to the file rather than putting it on vinyl and applying it later. We probably should have done that because what this doesn't have is our QR code that we did print it after the fact and then applied it ourselves, and that was better. So I think we're just going to wrap them with the image only and then come back over the top
I like
with
that.
the logo and a title and the date and the QR code, and then we can be smarter about where the placement is so it doesn't cover so much of the image
Yeah.
and it doesn't get completely lost. So
Nice.
they said that that will be fine.
Good.
We'll just mock it up and figure out how it's going to look for each one.
Can we place the vinyls ourselves, or do we need to get the company to come and stick them on?
No, we the after the vinyl after I can't
Yeah.
do this, but the stick 'em after the fact I do. Yeah, we do
Okay.
in house.
Excellent.
Its lifespan, on the other hand, is probably lesser,
Right.
but that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, and we actually have these two. That it was like a little learning lesson.
The way you wanted it,
Yeah, it's kind of a
fair
bummer.
enough.
But the QR code, luckily the QR code is something we went in after the fact, so there's that.
All right.
Okay.
Good question. So, art on the move.
All but one of your artists have successfully amended their contracts. Yes.
Nice.
Oh, it's
Uh,
good.
So Jody Bliss has her, so we'll have a whole along 4th. So Jody Bliss has re-upped her contract and she's presently in St. Stephen's. This is an extremely light piece. It comes in 3. So with your permission, I would like to move this to our whole on 4th. And I don't have a picture of it in the round. I only have the front. It has this nice little poem on the front, and she's in a yoga position and then has a number of butterflies up her back. She is hand-forged steel and has these nice copper and green tones. So I think that she will fit just fine, and it's something that we can do that's not a super heavy lift. So that's the suggestion of filling the hole, whoops. And then, oh, Angela, sorry. And then the only other piece that you need to decide is this is the Revan Swanson butterfly that had to be taken down because of the roof. This is massive. I think it's like 13 or 14 feet. Plus then there's a 1.5 foot plinth underneath this guy. So we could put it back there if you like, or one of the other suggestions was, I got it, is Kensington. And so there's your robot that will come out. Can't see very well, but there he is from coming down Rothrock. And then of course, this is third.
That's
so
a
he's
really bad picture because it's
terrible.
right there. I mean, it's
terrible.
Google.
It
Can't
is
move
Google.
anything.
How do I?
But yeah, it's really easy to see from third. Really easy to see from third.
It is, but there is that kind of driveway street that just slides
Yeah, that's
off
Rothrock.
of the Rothrock.
Rothrock.
So it's on the other side of that, but
Yeah, yeah, but it's really, really easy to see from third.
And it's funny because we say Kensington Park, but of course it's Kensington Park on the south side. And what's great is that there's a handy dandy bike path that of course goes right along here and then goes up where that
Where the Unity thing is.
all the way north. And there's a kind of, what do you call that? Just ditch, I guess.
Yeah.
Catfish.
Yeah.
It's third and what? I'm not sure where that is.
which is probably frozen
Well,
over at this
do you know
moment.
where
That's-
Rothrock is?
And what street is this taken from again?
So
Third.
it's
Third.
east,
Yeah.
east of
So-
It's
Okay.
on the
Martin
east,
is?
east of Maine. It's east of Martin.
Yeah, so Martin's
Yeah.
runs here. I guess I could just pull up Google. Martin runs here, and then this is
And
third.
third, okay, Martin.
That's the Canyon.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's the case.
Yeah. It's really, really easy to see from third. I think the butterfly would go great there.
Yeah, I
It's
like that.
huge and tall. I like the
And it's
idea.
not so
Yeah.
massive.
It's
some
got a
light
nice
and-
color to it to draw your eyes.
Yep, that's a good place for it.
So Angela, do you have a plan also that I'm just kind of jumping the gun?
Yeah,
for-
please.
For the two holes that get left then, if we relocate those two pieces?
So then St. Stephen's will not have anything that replaces the Bliss piece, and there's nothing presently where the giant butterfly came from.
Mhm.
That said, I don't know if anyone went downtown, I hope you went downtown, over the holidays. LDDA programs that space fairly often, and for the holidays, they put this, I'm gonna say ornament.
Massive.
Giant globe-ish thing.
The Instagram does.
Yeah, Instagrammable moment
Right.
around a bench,
Yeah.
and they moved a bench. And so if the butterfly were there, they wouldn't have been able to do
Ah,
that.
Is the construction done on the
Yes.
church?
Yeah.
Yes.
For
But I
now?
wonder,
No
will
doubt.
they want to do that again next year? I mean, it was such a popular
It was.
thing, and it looked
Yeah.
so great from the street.
it did, yeah.
On either side and driving by it.
We got a lot of great feedback. And
Yeah.
We
so
do want to do it next
Do you
year.
want to do the same thing? So we need to keep that
In mind.
in mind
Yeah.
with what goes in the art and the move there.
Yep.
There's also other pieces that are already over there as well.
Yep.
So
Right.
it's not like that we don't have pieces like right through St. Stephen's.
Oh, you want to be at third.
I know, I'm just seeing if you know.
There you go.
Wait, to the left.
To the left, to the left.
Which are
Third and Martin.
Oh, sorry, I thought
Martin,
we were.
there we are.
That's
Okay,
Stevens.
so, yeah, no, we're going to
Where
third
the heck
Martin.
are we going?
So third and Martin, here's Martin,
Kensington
then
ditch.
there's this funny little rock, right?
Okay, I know.
And
It's
we're,
like
and there's the
friended.
Kensington
Yeah,
Trail.
I know.
Oh, Spring Gulch. It's not called a ditch. It's
It says
Spring Gulch.
it says it right there.
No, it's also
It
a
says
ditch.
Kensington Ditch Trail.
two different.
That's the name of the
It's
trail.
It's lipstick on a pig, folks. And so, yeah, so
There it is.
Oh, look.
Yeah, that's
that
the one.
was an old.
Yeah,
that's,
is a-
oh, look at the
Before I moved here.
Yeah. Okay, so then, let's see if we we drive? We'll just drive. Should we drive? No, should we just go back? I see my. Oh. So we don't use Google Maps all that often.
Does
There we
everyone
go.
understand where it is?
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
And then our,
Down.
no, right. Okay, so here's St. Stephen's Plaza. The Bliss piece is right here. This tree now no longer exists, wah wah. And then it was right, the Swanson piece was right here, but that bulbous, you know, it's fairly significant in the plaza.
Mhm.
So,
Okay. So how do people feel about putting that butterfly out at Kensington?
Yes.
Is there-
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
that's a
think we
good
need to
idea.
vote on that.
nope, I just need direction.
Yeah, I think it's the best place for it,
Great.
from what we have.
Fantastic. Well, everybody is paid. Everybody is agreeable to whatever you decide, and we're cooking with gas. So, Revin, the large butterfly, will install April 23rd, 23, 24, 25, around there, and we'll move Bliss at the exact same time to 4th. And the robot will go out. So there'll be four moving parts. Nice and easy.
Okay, also under Art on the Move, we have $1,500 left over for temporary artwork. The Senior Center is looking for some 2D artworks for their walls. Do we want to spend the rest of the available temporary money for available money for a temporary display on 2D work? We have $1,500, so maybe 3 artists for $500 each. How do we feel about that? Talk.
Is this for that big wall as you go in there? Where are they going to put it?
So Ronnie has, well, first and foremost, we would need to have a task force come together to go in there with me and look at all of the available spaces. And it will absolutely be it will really be curating like what's available and what wall spaces. But yes, there is the giant wall when you come in that already has some work on it, but Ronnie also knows that this is temporary. So we couldn't necessarily promise that we would have them for further.
Isn't that giant wall, isn't that where the what's its world, Roy's World is?
That's when you go past the desk down
Okay.
the hall.
I thought there were books everywhere else, but I could be
They've
wrong.
really, if you haven't been in the senior center recently,
They updated it
oh boy.
massively.
Yeah.
Last summer, they closed for a period to remodel, and they added in the lobby area. They added more seating. You know, it's like kind of a slowly but surely effort because
Yeah.
you know we're all dealing with like dated buildings that you're trying to just put some lipstick on.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I would just speak to how much traffic that building gets and how also well known it is. So I've literally spoken with a member of the public who moved here to Longmont because of the strength of the programming at our senior center.
Wow.
So it's very impressive. If you're eligible to be part of it, do it because you'll find something that like meets your needs. They offer free and most of the week, and then 2 days a week, like super affordable, like $2, let's say, lunches through Meals on Wheels, which has a huge following. Just kind of like I think, but still after the renovation, I think anything we can do to kind of give them more, you know, modern, exciting, changeable. You'll get. I mean, I think if we put stuff in, it would get seen. It would get talked about.
Yeah.
I could go on.
There's also that room when you first walk in that had that extremely dated mural that wasn't a part of our collection. Some of you were on board, some of you weren't at that time. It was okay, gently, Angela, gently. It was a community project that had some very dated imagery that the staff of the senior center didn't feel resonated with our community anymore, and so now that wall is completely blank. And I will also add that by putting temporary work in, if you like it and they like it, you can buy it. But then it becomes, more permanent. I would just also, on the flip side of that coin, precedent is something that we talk about very often. And if we put temporary work in there and then we take it out while we're working towards making adjustments to our guidelines, at this point in time, we're still limited on that temporary number. So come next year, you'll really want to be cognizant of the fact that you're setting a bit of a precedent of putting 2D work in the senior center, and we don't want to leave them high and dry. So I just want you to, when you're looking at this, looking at it from a very well-rounded point of view.
Are you saying we would want to think about making it like a sustainable, rotating, or
if you want to,
set of art or something again?
And also, and I guess I should also say, as you know, art is very subjective, and not everyone is going to like everything. There. I don't know where else to go with that one. So many thoughts.
So Angela, from a precedent perspective, the concern is that we don't typically do that in buildings or at the request of, is that the precedent?
We have before, actually, when Safety and Justice had that.
Yeah, we did those whole, they were
great.
so cool.
They loved the work that we put in and had in their waiting room. Don't know if you've ever been in that space before, but yeah, it was really, it was very much appreciated, and the community that was in that space maybe wasn't always having the best day, and it really enlivened that space.
They were
so yeah, I just would say that once we put artwork into a place, we need to be prepared for all the different outcomes of, well, where did it go? I love that piece. You didn't love that piece, but I love that piece. And then you're the body who's ultimately making those decisions. And we will very likely, and as we should, have those staff members join us in making those determinations of what goes on display. But you're the deciding body at the end of the day.
Okay.
My only thought is that I feel like I should bring up is that the senior center is dedicated to a group of individuals, and we are singling out a good majority of our community that doesn't go over there. Just speaking out, I don't know if that's not a good thing or a good thing, but I feel that unless you're involved with the actual city or you are over a certain age, it's not a place that we're going to, so we're not getting towards any kind of children or anybody else that's working their way up into this community as well. So I don't know. I just feel like that's just what on my mind, and I wanted to say that.
I do think that's a good point. I have been to events there where there are all kinds of people.
Exactly.
Families, kids, everything.
A lot. And it just, for example, the Christmas thing around, they do all kinds of things, and there are a variety of ages and families.
That's good to know.
They're using it. And there are at some other times too, because people will bring their grandkids to do something, and they're
that's fair.
Teaching them how to do pool and this and that.
Where even is the senior center? I don't even know where the senior center is. I'm way off on this one. So,
just look at all the programs they offer.
See how good I am with Google.
Yeah, Danielle, it's on. It's basically in Roosevelt Park.
Okay, I know
on
exactly.
Long's Peak, so on the south side.
Gotcha.
Yes, towards the west corner.
Okay.
Once you see it, you won't. But it kind of blends in. Yeah. So you know where the Memorial Building is, which is the little baby rec center.
Yep.
It's it's just further down from that.
It's kind of adjacent to the Rose Garden.
Yep. Okay. Totally.
And I do think you're right, Michelle, that it is heavily trafficked by all kinds of people. This I like. And I also think people will talk. They will.
Yeah.
And, the buck may stop with us, but remember, the point of art is for people to have to react to it. Yeah.
Right.
The other piece is you do have a growing online presence with your digital tours. And there is no reason that we couldn't require, as a part of your participation in this program, that we are asking you, the artist, to speak on behalf of either audio or just a written statement about each of the pieces, so that we can have an online presence, so we can reach different demographic that may not physically visit it, but then may see it online and then want to go to visit it. I think that we can do a real good job of pushing the artwork, that it's available there for people to see, to a wider demographic, to bring them in.
No, that's really fair. Yeah.
And we're up and running with that, so
Yeah.
it looks really good.
We would have a call for artists for that?
I will do it exactly the same as I would do Art on the Move. Y'all would go through your online portal, do the selection process, have that conversation, and then the task force, we would have to have a task force, because we'll ask for a body of work, and because the walls will be varying in sizes, we'll know we need large work for here, and someone will come with their body of available work, and then the task force will basically say, here's the body, and curate down, here are the pieces that'll fit.
And
So-
would the
Photograph?
stipend be the same?
Sorry, what's that?
Would the stipend be the same?
You have
Or-
$1,500.
Oh, this was with the, okay.
Yeah.
I forgot, that was a
So-
long ago.
So we could say
Because I
$500
was the senior center.
the artwork for a year.
Yeah, it would be, so last time we did a 2D call and we had the Safety and Justice Building, we had that entire wall, and one artist did that entire space, and we gave them the $1,000.
Right.
So now it would be, I mean, you could do one $1,000 award, or you could do three $500 awards or something like that. I think 3 artists is probably going much more into that. That is going to start convoluting things a little bit, but showing a body of work rather than just like one piece, and we'll also make it a little more cohesive.
Yeah. And any 2D
Yeah,
paintings or photographs?
yeah, you can. It's up to you. You want digital stuff? You want
Anything 2D, could be collage, could
Anything.
be.
Eric, did you have something?
I just wanted to check. So in terms of the amount of work, part of the goal of not doing Art on the Move was taking some workload off. Are we basically just, I mean, would the commission be adding all that back on
Yep.
by doing this?
Indeed.
2D's a lot.
Can't help ourselves.
Yeah, it's way easier.
Just from a logistics perspective of the moving in, moving out. This is an empty place, and we're just filling. We're not taking out and putting in, but
No.
but yes, it is more work, sir.
Even so, taking out a picture is a lot easier than moving
crane.
a giant sculpture.
Well, yeah, and it's not like which piece is going to fit on what plinth and what has to come out when. That dance is just a little bit more complicated. But yes, it is. It certainly is the contract work, and it certainly is, the curation work.
So I just wanted to say, do you remember I asked you a while, like a year ago or a year and a half ago, could we put something in the senior center? Yeah. So I'm super interested in this. I even, like before Ronnie became director there, I went in there and did a complete re-layout of the furniture, because I was like, I can't believe there's all this furniture and no place for people to sit in conversation. And that one, it didn't go anywhere. It sat forever because it required people to move those bookcases, which were in front of those beautiful windows, and nobody knew there was a sunroom. Do you know there's a sunroom at the senior center?
On the south side.
Yeah, it's when you walk in, it's on the south side. Anyway, so, and I had a friend who was on the board at the senior center. She isn't any longer, but she said that when it came to hanging artwork on the wall, they just asked people at the senior center, do you have anything you want to put on the walls? So that's how they arrived at what's currently there.
Yeah.
And they have that humongous wall, I think it's 30 by I don't know how high, with rather small artwork. They've got it clustered nicely, but yeah, it's to me it's like crying out for, just something to add vibrancy
It'll be it will be a process, right? Because of the way that the charter is written of public art that the city decides to put there versus a program itself putting something on display, and there could be bumps in the road, certainly.
Well, I'd
Jenny,
love to
did
see
you
it
have
happen.
something?
But I
Yeah,
think, yeah. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I was just curious about the money itself. Is it specifically earmarked for temporary art or?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Just how that
the
works.
way that it's written is there's only $7,500. Oh, how's it read? $7,500 or 10% of your annual budget can be allotted every year for something that is temporary, which is on display for 1 year or less.
Can be or has to be?
It's temporary, so 1 year or less. Not an asset.
Can be, not required.
Yes, can be.
Not required. I was just
Right.
wondering because if one of the things we're worried about in the long run is having to take it down, I was just curious if that money could be used to put something more permanent in there, or if it had to be for a temporary piece.
We can't, if the commission decided to purchase two-dimensional art, which we have talked about before in doing a call to purchase two-dimensional art forever for a space, we can't. Asterisk. When the senior center came to us, they're nervous about putting something on display and it being there forever.
And not resonating, potentially. Yeah.
Because I think that that's what they ran into with the mural that they were bound to for a really long time. And so even when we moved Roy's World over there, the agreement between Ronnie and I is, this is already in the collection. We already own it. It was in an unfortunate place previously. It needs more visibility. Let's move it to your hallway and see how it goes. And thus far, everyone likes it. It's a landscape, right? The fox. It does have glitter. It's accessible.
It's Sandstone Ranch.
It's Sandstone Ranch.
That's funny.
Michelle.
Yeah, so one thing, when I started getting involved in public art, a comment was made to me, and I think that it's, what is it, a truism? Is that, hopefully I'm using that word correctly, but that public art is so heavily focused on 3D projects, right? Like
True.
sculptures, things, and I think if you kind of think it through, it's because those things are going to be presentable in an outdoor space, in a public, which are many public spaces, right? That, in a way, like, opinions don't matter because there's not like a desk they can just march right over to and be like, I don't know about this. But so moving beyond jokes, is it to our advantage to kind of think of our portfolio in a way that we want to continue to diversify and be more inclusive of 2D works and artists who are like, well, I don't look at the public art kind of calls because I'm a 2D artist and they don't, and that's so infrequently called for. It's not something that, and again, I feel like I'm a little bit a newbie to that side of the world, but just kind of wanted to open that up a little bit as thinking of a new project that is.
And I think to piggyback on that too, last time we were talking about, or 3 meetings ago, how the rotation of 3D art is kind of going on between all the different counties and cities, and it's revolving door with it. And this might be an opportunity to kind of break that pattern for Longmont. And
I also feel that they'll have little signs that say art in public places and who it is and everything. That will increase our exposure so much, especially in a highly trafficked place like the senior center. People might start saying, hey, I wonder what else they have. How do I get involved with that?
Do we need to make make a
Anything
motion.
else?
I feel like everybody is. Seems like they're pretty much on board.
Right.
So,
So now
like,
what?
Go.
I'll make a motion to get 2D art to do an artist call for 2D art into the senior center.
Wait a second.
For
For what?
$1,500 for Art on the Move.
$1,500 for art on the move. What else did you say?
Do you want to designate how many artists?
One artist.
One artist for all $1,500?
Well, isn't that what we were saying was?
You absolutely.
Was because then it was all
The body of
one.
work. The body of work.
The body of work.
Up
I
to
don't think
3
we
artists.
need to.
Up to
Yeah, I was
so yeah,
gonna
up
say,
to 3
let's say
artists.
Yeah.
Maybe the task force.
Yeah.
See what comes in.
Yeah, let's kick that down the road.
I don't know what's
See
also
where it
what's
fits.
typical compensation, right, for displaying art. Is it, and depending on how much we want that like cohesive, right? I
Yeah.
can see that being.
That's where I thought somebody was.
Yeah.
Where a couple people were going with that. That's why I went with one artist. But yeah, the cohesiveness I think will be key. But again, that could be 3 artists that match really well. So yeah, up to 3 artists.
Right now, you give a $1,000 stipend per sculpture. So I would say $1,500 for 2D work for one artist probably does not align. Previously, you had an entire body of work of 10 works at Safety and Justice for $1,000.
Wow.
So I would say up to 5 works, or maybe like one large work, like an artist for $500 seems very appropriate to me.
Also, they're going to be in different places in the building, and not
That's
everybody
all
will
for
see
one
everyone.
Yeah, I thought it was
Yeah.
on one wall.
Yeah.
So I had a misunderstanding.
There's
But
lots
either
of
way,
different
okay, yeah.
places.
So up to 3 artists for $1,500 per artist.
Yeah.
Okay, I need a second on that. Anybody? Eve. All in favor?
Yes.
I get 12.
12.
Opposed? There's nobody left.
And task force.
Yes, now we need a
Sorry,
task
that's
force.
gonna
We need a
be-
couple of people that are willing
been
to
something.
go with Angela to look at the building and
Well, you
to
must be
curate
excited.
the call.
This will be relatively soon, right? Okay, count me out.
Eve wants to do it. Who else?
I'm
Come
sorry.
on,
What,
you-
what were you?
Oh,
What
yeah.
she asked for?
Do you
Oh,
want?
interested.
Do you wanna
wanna be
help
a part
her?
of the task force?
I-
You can
This
say
is
no.
the-
Let's say no.
This is. I'm
Michelle,
gonna
raise her
end
hand.
my
No.
Michelle, what's her name?
commission in a
Melanie.
couple months.
It's okay.
So,
Melanie, say
I
yes.
am too, but I think it's gonna be sooner.
is it going to be within the next couple months?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd love to do it. I would
Okay.
love to do it.
I was wondering why you weren't raising your hand. That explains it.
Okay. Eve, Nettie, Melanie. Great.
And Melanie is an alternate.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Three's fine. We just can't email. We'll figure it out.
Okay. Or you can take me off. Van Gogh.
Angela, could I ask real quick, what percentage of our collection is 2D? If you want to guess.
Well, no.
Three of 100. Well, do you want to include shock art?
Right, I don't know.
So
You tell me.
without shock art, it is less than 5%.
Cool.
Is that murals and?
Oh well.
I don't know what
so-
yeah.
So
Yeah, 'cause we have a lot of
you,
murals.
Framed
we all
works.
have Roy's World, which is a triptych acrylic on canvas, which is presently at the senior center. You have
Tony
I thought
Ortega.
it was the blue one. in
it's
the
at the
library.
senior. It's been replaced at the senior center.
Oh, okay.
The Blue Mile is at the library on the going up the stairs on the 2nd floor. Then you have a silver print at Sandstone Ranch.
There's 3.
A set of 3 silver prints at Sandstone Ranch. It's under one accession number, but it technically is 3 pieces. And then you have a gouache. It's about this big at Sandstone Ranch. The Sandstone Ranch pieces, including the senior center piece, were acquired from an exhibition that was done at the museum in
About 98?
Yeah, sounds about right. 98, wherein artists were invited to, because of the development of Sandstone Ranch.
Yeah, the city had just bought it and they were just developing it as a park.
Yeah, so the artists were invited to go out to Sandstone Ranch and to be inspired and create artworks. All of those artworks went on display at the museum, and Art in Public Places purchased the 3 pieces.
And then there's the library piece.
Yeah, the new
Blue
one.
Mile.
Well,
Blue
the
Mile
new
was-
one, the new one.
Garcia Brothers.
Yeah, the Garcia. Mhm.
I was just seeing if you knew. We have the city council.
Oh,
yeah! See, you shouldn't ask me these things. I don't manage your collection.
No, it's all right. I need to send you down the, oh my gosh, can I roll
No,
it
it's
up
okay.
skull?
So you have
We have
2
a few.
gouache. You have a gouache. Yeah, you have gouache in here. You've got the triptych that's at the library, the
It's
Blue
kind of
Mile
a
that's at the
collage
library. So
thing.
yeah, 5 or 6.
Tony Ortega outdoor mural.
Yeah. So if you count murals,
We
then
have
it
to
changes.
change a
Then
lot.
it changes.
Yeah,
But
sure.
yes.
Okay, that's helpful.
Yeah.
Thank
No,
you.
good questions. Oh, Jason, my husband would say, "You just lost a corner of your degree."
Brutal. Totally.
Okay, so any other questions or comments on the Art on the Move 2D stuff? No, we're good with that? Excellent. Number 11, Van Gogh.
Is open and people are applying.
Ooh,
So
really?
yeah, it's looking really good. I would be prepared next month to go through. I'll probably give you about a week to go through the call for entry jury portal. For those of you who have not done it, I will send you a YouTube video that's a little bit of a snoozer, and I'll do a lunch and learn, which I'll record. It is not difficult. The directions are more difficult than the actual process. But basically, you log on to a portal, I give you a password, you choose your event, which is gonna say Van Gogh, and then you have to go in to an application, you see a bunch of work, and you think to yourself, if I told this artist what to do, like paint this van and bring me back an idea from the look and feel of the portfolio of work, that this is an artist that I would want to see what they come up with, and then you give them a high score or a low score, and you stay out of the middle. So we might even do the yes, no, maybe. Well, no, we need to score. It'll be like between a 7 and a 1. And yeah, so then I'll bring back a short list in March, and you all will vote on the 3 artists that you want to pay $250 for a proposal, and then we'll bring the proposals back in April, and then you'll decide on an artist and an alternate to do that project. Very exciting. And it is hyper local, so we did have a couple artists from Larimer County that were a little hurt that they're not considered as part of Northern Colorado, and my explanation was that Longmont is in Boulder and Weld County, so we kept it Boulder and Weld County.
So did you, as they come in, are you looking at those variables that you automatically knock them out, or are we going to do that on the task?
You're gonna have to do that. Yeah, you task force the short list of you who agreed to look at those.
Okay.
But again, I'm gonna give you a matrix.
Okay.
And you're just gonna be super quick. Depending on how many there are, they might actually throw themselves out.
Okay.
I just don't know yet. And of course, because artists are artists, bless them, they all wait till the last minute. Yeah, we won't know what we're gonna get until the last minute, yeah.
Okay. Questions? Okay. New business. Attrition. In your packet, y'all got a thing, which I don't know what I do with, about the attrition. Here it is. No, you gave it to me. Here, I gave it to you. That's right. I lent it. Okay. Did everybody get this and look at it?
Mm-hmm.
Do we understand what the program is, what the idea is for this?
Mm-hmm. I think.
Let's discuss.
Well, so let me back up just a minute. So this was born from a number of, sorry, I cannot do 2 things at once. I'm not going to pretend like I can. This was born out of, we have conversations sometimes, and then attrition comes into play, a discussion
Right.
of if we,
There you go.
if we weren't a 15-person commission, if we were a little bit smaller. And usually those conversations happen around, well, you don't have quorum, or you need lots of volunteers for things, and a variety of, and we'll like go down a path of a couple of different notes about it, and then we come back out, and we've never formally talked about it. And so the executive team, we got together fall, and we're looking at projects. We got together again in the beginning of the year, and we're looking at projects. And so I put together the discussion points, because when we talk about this, it tends to be like a couple little things, and it's never formally on a singular place. So I collected them in a singular place. And the thing that I would like to point out is 2 bits. First is that it is recruiting time of year, so it's a good time to talk about this. Because you have 3 of you that are term limited and will be leaving us, and I can't even go there right now, but you will be leaving. And then we have 2 folks who are finished of their first term and will not be rejoining us. So we will have upwards of 5 new commissioners, plus we presently have 3 folks who haven't been on for a full year. That is more than half of you. Just pointing that out. And the second piece is that our task forces, we usually have about 4, I would say, at any given time going. And because of open meetings and open in the Sunshine Law, if we're going to have a conversation either over the phone, a Zoom, or email, there can only be 2 of you on a task force. As soon as we create a task force that's over 2 people, then if we're going to have a meeting about something, we have to have an agenda, we have to have minutes, and we have to have it posted 72 hours in advance. It's not that we can't do that, it's another step. So with 4 task forces really at any given time, if you have 2 people per task force, that's about 8. So I recognize that not everybody can volunteer for a subcommittee at any given time, but I'm just saying that most of the commissions tend to be about 9, 11, and we are 15. So I would never want anybody to feel like they're not doing anything, contributing in the way, and your number 1 task, as always, is those maintenance reports and volunteering where and how you can. With an attrition process, nobody's getting fired. It's just as we recruit, if we have people who want to come up and they do volunteer and they sit on, then they're appointed. And if we ever have moments where there's not enough appointees for seats, then they fall away until we get to a number that is closer to boards and commissions that are around the city. It's not that it's a preference, it's just that this is a good time, if an attrition process were to be started, that this is a good time to do it. So I put these together. I talked to Eric and Jeff just to make sure that they knew that I put these together, and also the city clerk's office. It is 100% up to the body of how you function and what you do and your role, if you think that this is a good idea, or if not. If there are ever seats that aren't filled, then they're just not filled and they sit vacant. But when someone in an off year were to come in and fill that seat, then they finish that term and then they start their first term. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So where a commissioner at this juncture finishes their term, we appoint somebody else, they sit for 3 years, they apply for another one, sit for 3 years. If you have seats that are off, then when people come in, they finish a year and a half and then they reapply. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So that's why I put these together. And I think also, sorry not to just totally go into this, but this is all very new and it's very fresh. And so I thought we could just today start with what questions do you have as you digest this, and then maybe next month we come back and we actually really talk about what your opinion is, because this is all very fresh.
I think it's important to say that we have 1 seat, one recruitment a year? 2 recruitments a year?
Yes.
And we anticipate that it may take 6 years, so that's 12 recruitments. If we get if we have 5 people leaving and we have 2 applicants, fine, we can hire 2. And then the next 6 months later, if we have 4 openings, we could, it can go up and down a little bit, but we have to have an odd number.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't need to be all at once.
Well, it can't be.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just put that out there. I do not mean to bring doom and gloom and icky, but I thought we'd talk about this upon occasion, and without discussion points, I don't think that this discussion is going to get anywhere. Mm-hmm. Yes, let's go forward, or no, let's not go forward, and let's move and recruit as we go. So.
Does anybody have any questions? Scott.
So in my past career as city planner, I staffed a lot of committees like this, and Historic Preservation Committee here way back, and I always felt 9 was better functioning. The larger the committee was, it was more unwieldy for me to work with as a liaison. So I don't know how you feel about it, or if you're bringing it up just for management purposes. It always felt like it was easier to run like a 9-person committee for me than a much larger. So I ran both, but and we can go into more details of some of my experiences in it, like next month or whatever, if you want to talk about it. But that's just a quick impression I have. But this is not a bad idea over time.
I had 2 questions. Well, one is just if you can remind me, what's the quorum rule? How many?
Half
just
seated.
Half seated. Okay. And then when you go through recruiting cycles now, typically is it we're begging people to join us, or we have 700 people for 5 seats? Can you give me some sense of typically how that goes?
It's odd. COVID changed everything. The last couple of cycles haven't had issues and have had applicants, which is fantastic. Not all have come to a meeting beforehand, and a number of people come to us because they have sat on a selection panel first, and then they say, that's something I'm really interested in. And so we have a bit of a built-in organic recruitment
pipeline.
Pot of folks. I wish Sage were here. Sage is a perfect example of somebody who was really interested in what we were doing out in the community, and then said, well, how would it help them in their personal career and these kinds of things, and then became a shock art artist and said, I want to take it a little bit step further. Other commissions and boards have a harder time getting recruiting.
Planning zoning.
Not so much.
Board of Adjustments.
Yeah, and I think that it's the requirements are just different,
right?
For different reasons. And yeah, that answers the question.
Yeah, thank you.
Over my years of this, I've seen sometimes when we've had like only 1 or 2 applicants, sometimes we've had like a whole raft of people to interview.
Mm-hmm.
It certainly did. I also have heard both recently and previously from the city clerks, for whatever, that has been difficulty recruiting people to boards and commissions. Mm-hmm. Ours just happens to be particularly fun, I think.
We take Robert's rules and just rip them up.
Stamp on them.
Tiny sidebar. I did go to this. And I know that you did too, go to the city orientation for boards and commissions, and it really was really useful. And they did talk about how every board's culture is different, and some of them are more informal, so really not in trouble.
So, this is, anybody else?
My last thought on that is, I guess the amount of pieces in our collection would be a bit of a concern if
good point.
We're still wanting to check on them regularly. So but again, over time, you might have the ability to see if it's becoming too much for
Right
a
now,
certain-
we often have 2 or 3 people checking the same artwork,
Oh.
which is not a bad thing.
Right.
But we could, we have room there to
Mhm.
reduce a little bit and still cover our collection.
Yeah, I think that's the one big project that I think is easier with more people, but if you can do
Unless
it.
everybody's like me and forgets to do it.
We are revamping our internship program. So I do think that that is one of the things that is pretty fantastic to send an intern who's interested in collection work to learn about how to see artworks. Certainly, yeah.
Any other comments?
How would
Okay.
this make your job easier, Angela?
Yeah.
This room setup. I mean, I think making sure that everyone who has vested interest is really heard. 15 people is a lot, and there are a lot of opinions, and there have been conversations that have been slightly contentious, and making sure that everyone feels that they have a voice and something to do. I think that that's, if we didn't have selection panels that had community volunteer opportunities, I don't think I think I would feel differently, but because selection panels are up to 11 people, there is still a lot of community input here. Yeah, but really,
Okay.
yeah.
So everybody, for next month, read this and think about any questions that you're going to have and how you feel about it.
And send questions to me in advance, like if any questions of legal or clerk's office, and frankly, just your opinion. Yes, it's a good idea. No, it's not a good idea.
Or yes, I'm worried about it because.
All the things. Yeah.
Okay. New business part B. Safety and Justice artwork removal started yesterday. And for those that don't know, there's a big mosaic up on the clock tower that is coming down. We've deaccessioned it. There's no possible way to save it. It's made of little tiny tiles, and when it comes down in a million little pieces. So we deaccessioned it. We're all good to go. But if anybody asks, send them to Angela, please.
Are they recycling the glass tiles?
I don't think so. I think because of the nature of, what would she call it?
How is it fixed?
Well, and what comes along with it. I don't think they can separate out X and Y. I know that they are recycling as much metal, of course, as possible, but as for the other, I don't know that. Luckily, what I didn't understand before this was that the piece that they're taking down right now is behind a lot of plastic, so people aren't going to see that it's coming down now. But when the second phase of, or I don't know what phase it is, but the next portion of taking down the public art, there will be some comment in the newspaper somewhere. Yeah.
It's TC line.
Assistant position update.
Oh, the assistant position is posted. So it should go out in the email tomorrow. And I did re-review again. I ended up dragging my feet just a little bit. I'm sorry, but it looked really good. And so I need to go online and just make sure that it's correct. But everything looked correct. So I'll send it to everyone if you want to send it along.
Yeah. Random question about that.
Yeah.
If we had somebody that was close to us that wanted that position, would that affect our position on the commission?
Blood, love, money.
Got you. That's what I kind of figured, but I was just curious as to how that plays out.
The trifecta of conflict of interest.
Always. Fair enough.
Yep.
I just have a random question. The ants in the left-hand part.
Picnic?
Yeah. I thought that I had heard that those were going to be powder coated, and I thought that was like late last summer. And is that still on the agenda, or what's going on there?
So they need to be painted with concrete paint.
Okay.
Southmore Park is what is going to be redone this summer in August, and those are the pieces along Missouri.
Mhm.
So where Maine is, and Quail goes to the east, and the museum is there.
Mm-hmm.
And Missouri goes to the west. They're along Left-Hand Creek, but there are 3 or 4 pieces that are on the top of our list for maintenance.
Right.
The ants, which is concrete paint, gather enough people, which is in storage, so it's safely tucked away, while the Army Corps of Engineers fixes along the river near Isaac Walton. Merge, which is on the bridge, and there's one more that is escaping me.
The pieces on, what's that? Nature's Way.
Yeah, those are the ones that are
Nature's
kind
Way.
of, they're really degrading, right? And we had to kind of wrap them.
Yeah.
And so they are still on the agenda. Okay, but not till next summer.
And they're redoing that park. And is that Southmore Park? Where is that? Which is that? Is that the one with the, you said they were redoing Southmore Park this year?
No, Southmore is where we're fixing the whirly gigs. Oh, hold on.
It's the fish fountain
That fish fountain.
and the I Spy and the chairs.
Mhm.
The chairs are nothing's gonna happen.
And
to
then
those
the real
'cause
tall things that look like flowers,
Leaf
yeah,
flowers,
flower
yes,
pot
yes,
kind of
yes.
things.
So wrapped.
Those are the ones that are degrading.
Yeah. But the short list is the ants. We have a lovely short list of Tony Ortega's piece.
And the
Yes.
basketball court.
The basketball court, which I don't know if will be Tony Ortega's piece at Sandstone. It's it's Archway.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's on the short list, but it's not on the super
It's
short
at the
list.
ballpark.
We have
It's very
a number of things. What am I looking for? History and overview. Artwork across.
Because I haven't been reporting the ones, I forget the name of them now, that look like the big tall flowers. I haven't been reporting those because I know that they're in a priority, so
They are,
I
yeah.
haven't been completing those.
Sorry. Oh, this is a little barfy. This guy.
A lot of the tesserae have fallen off of it.
Yeah, it's getting completely revamped, and of course, because of the nature of this, you can't see the other 3 to 5 pieces in that. Gather enough people. This
Right.
is in storage. Clearly, this needs to be updated. That's
Any movement on that? Do we know what's going to happen?
Yeah, what's going on?
Oh, yeah, the painting.
Nope, it's okay. We're in the commissioner's comments section of this
Okay.
meeting, clearly. Yes, so
Oh, yeah, that's right,
our folks in legal and in the risk department have been talking to their counterparts in the city, and yes, I think that the risk management conversation will help move things to some sort of resolution, but a resolution should be coming soonish.
Hopefully they'll do the road then.
That's the thing in the library there, that blue thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
what's in the library.
yeah, that's our blue mile in the library.
Which was donated.
It was
It's
donated.
on the landing, if you're ever in the library, you'll see it there.
Yeah, so, there's your gouache. Anyway, did that answer the question? I don't know if I answered the question.
Yep.
Okay, great. Clearly we need.
That was the thing that's
That
coming
needs to
down.
disappear.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some things that need to come off the website.
Oh, goodness, the website. I do have a question.
Looks better though, doesn't it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, good.
Oh, yeah. Great.
I asked what Southmore Park was.
It's the fish fountain and we don't have a picture of the,
The view thing.
The tree things and all of that stuff that we went to
Oh,
look
that's
at in
Nature's
20
Way.
degrees.
Yeah.
yes, Nature's Way is South Farm Park, yeah.
Okay,
Same
all right, all right. I get it.
Okay, I have one more commissioner comment.
We're not there yet.
Okay, excuse
We're
me.
almost there.
I jumped the gun, apparently.
So, 13 commissioner comments.
Thank you. What's our update on the Fox Meadows?
50% rocks done, no comment on elk. Still on timeline for being done April, May.
Okay, all right. So just keep in mind, everyone, we have another one coming, another part.
I know, I can't, I guess I should put things on the agenda even when there's no update.
Yeah, because it's,
I mean, I guess it's still there.
Ongoing. Yeah,
Okay,
there's
yeah,
no real update.
will do.
I would like to know about your presentation at the Creative Professional
Oh, yeah.
Development thing. How'd that go?
Oh, good. Eric, how did it do?
It was great. Thank you for being on that panel.
No, it went really well. So I basically, it snowed. Oh my gosh. It was like a blizzard. It was a blizzard. I got a lot of questions about smart collaborations because sometimes you're the maker or the idea person and you don't know how to get to, you can do your process, but you don't know how to like take it to the next step. So I talked a lot about the do's and don'ts of that and like finding smart partners. Like if you don't know how to do something, if you don't know how to do website design, like don't spend a bunch of time trying to learn that when you can find a smart partner to work with. Yeah, I think it went really well. I got like 20 people added to our email list. Yeah, it was good. It was really good. And Van Gogh, I pitched Van Gogh, so all of those people knew about that opportunity.
Excellent.
Yeah, thank you for asking.
Anybody else? Anything you want to throw out there?
I thought that I heard from the St. Vrain Historical Society that there's going to be like a informal gathering at St. Stephen's because now they've
Yes.
done their
This
roof.
Saturday from 2:30 to 4 is the rededication of the stained glass windows at the church.
Right.
Wow.
So if you're around on Saturday.
Saturday's supposed to be nice.
Yes, it is.
Nice.
Cool. A reason to go downtown.
What'd you say you wanted on the back of these?
If you want a printed agenda or not.
Okay.
And if it's grammatically wrong, or you want pronouns, or you go by something else, or you just want it changed, just fix it for me.
Okay.
Yep. But if you write a printed agenda, then that's going to bring help to our assistant.
Okay, so anything else? Anybody feel we haven't covered something? All right, I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make
I move we adjourn. I move we adjourn.
I second.
Who seconds?
I second, yeah.
And all in favor? Okay. Adjourn at 7:33.